Hello. How's it going?
Yes. Hi. It's been a while.
Yeah.
Yeah. Welcome to the official Pixel Vendors podcast, everybody. I'm Noise,
I'm DammitKriss.
and as we're still trying to figure out what this podcast is,
Yeah.
we bring you news and what we've been up to. If
Yeah.
things that we don't talk about on our other podcasts and stuff like that.
Just shooting the breeze, chewing the cud.
Chewing the what?
Chewing the cud.
What is a cud?
So cows when they're eating, I don't know if you know this. Well actually a lot of I can't what they're called now. It's the term for animals with four stomachs. I know it's like goats and things like that
Okay.
do it too. They when they're chewing their food, because it's grass and stuff, so it's very tough. So what they do is they'll chew it for a while and then they swallow it. And it kind of sits in there, digests a little bit, and then they almost like spit it. It's not throw up because it's done on purpose. But
Right.
it comes back up and then they chew it some more. At that point, it's called cud.
That's
Yeah.
yummy.
Yeah.
It's,
So that's
it's
how it works
almost
with cows, yeah, and goats
it's
and
almost
everything like that.
worse than birds. Because with birds, at least you're just throwing up into someone else's mouth.
Yeah.
But in this one, you're throwing up in your own mouth and then chewing it again and
Yep.
then eating it again.
Yep. Yeah. Well, that stuff it's hard to break down. And they got to
Yes,
get as
yeah.
much nutrients from it as they can. That's the apparently the most cost effective way of doing it, I guess. So
Man.
yeah.
You ever heard of like how people who end up being like bulimic,
Mhm.
how like their teeth get all like rotted
Oh
and
yeah.
stuff because of
Yeah.
the stomach acid?
Yeah. Dude, stomach acid is like
It's gnarly.
insanely powerful. Yeah. I don't think people like understand because our stomachs is constantly lined with a special mucus that resists that. Otherwise,
Right.
we would like literally eat through our own stomach.
That's what an ulcer is.
Yeah, exactly. Pretty much, yeah. And people who have like GERD, which is like it's a chronic version of heartburn, tend to get ulcers in their esophagus as well.
Okay.
And that doesn't sound fun at all. So I don't want to deal with that.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
yeah,
that's all you made me think of when you said cows are throwing up in their mouths, chewing it, and then swallowing it again. Because I'm like, their teeth must have resistance to it.
well, that's the thing though, is I don't think they're actually throwing it up. I think it just kind of comes back up. I don't know exactly how it works, like mechanically.
But then you say they chew on it again?
Yeah.
Then it is in their mouths.
Right. Yeah, no, but I don't think it's coming with the acid is what I mean.
But it's caked in acid, isn't it?
I don't know. Because when we throw up with the acid and the bile and everything.
Right.
And that's like what that nasty taste is, obviously, when you throw up.
So basically, in their stomach, they have a pair of hands that's just like compounding this thing like a meatball.
Yeah.
Just like, like rolling it around, making it a
punching it to
perfect.
death.
Yeah. And then it's like, okay, send it back up, like
Yeah.
they squish all the stomach acid out so it's like as dry as possible, then back up to the mouth.
Yeah.
And then they chew it.
Again, I don't know the exact physics of how it works and everything, but I know that it does come up again, they chew it some more, yeah.
Nice.
So
Okay. What a good way to start this episode.
Yeah. So that's what chewing the cud refers to is cows when they bring it back up and they start chewing it again. That's what they're doing. They're chewing the cud.
Okay. Yeah. I was like, how did we get on this? Now I know.
Another term, of course, is chewing the fat, which
That I've
refers
heard,
to. Yeah. Same thing. Chewing the fat, chewing the cud.
Yeah. But yeah, okay. What should we start with? Like, what have we been doing in our free time? Is that what we want to talk about that?
Yeah, we can discuss that. Yeah, just kind of what's going on, I guess, or what's like current events, things we've dealt with. Yeah.
Let our audience know about us personally, because we do tell stories and stuff, but they don't really know us.
Yeah, well, I think part of it is just like in our other podcasts, we tend to get off topic so much, and like it's fun to do every once in a while. I get that, but like we don't get to as much as I think we'd like to.
Right.
Sometimes. And so like, I just kind of figure, let's tell some of those stories here. Let's, just talk about random stuff or whatever is on our minds, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So,
if you guys caught it in the Codec Calls podcast last week, I think, German talked about how he was like insanely tired, right? Was that last episode, that last recording we had?
Yeah, that was, yeah.
Because he said he crawled like an apartment complex and he was like in and out like over and over and over. He felt like he crawled like, a mile and a half or 3
Yeah.
miles or some shit like that. So yesterday, I ended up getting sent to the same complex.
Oh no.
It was the last building. So I was there with like 2 other coworkers of mine,
Hmm.
and that we were doing some other projects during the day.
Okay.
And so they ended up kind of doing most of the projects in the first one because I got sent away like, hey, can you check out this address real quick? And I was like, okay. And then I was like, hey, so I'll meet you at the other one with the apartment complex because I'm across town now. And they're like, yeah, let's take lunch and then we'll meet you there. So I took lunch with my wife. We went to what is this place? Bowls and Go. It's a ramen place, but they also have like
Okay.
Korean bulgogi and stuff,
Hmm.
like rice bowls with bulgogi and shit. So if you guys don't know
Yeah.
what bulgogi is, fucking go get some because it's like the most tenderest type of it's because it's not meat itself. It's like the style that they cook the meat, right? Or like the way they tenderize it or something.
Okay.
Because
Yeah.
there's pork bulgogi, there's steak bulgogi,
Chicken.
yeah, chicken. I guess it's just the way they tenderize it because when you throw it on whatever you're going to cook it on, it cooks super fast. It's because it's really thin. It cooks super
Yeah.
fast. You pick it up, you put it in your like you could just pop it in your mouth. It might be hella hot, but it might be cool. Like because it's so thin, it cools down quick.
Yeah.
So like you pop it in your mouth and you're like, oh, this is like it just melts in your mouth.
Hmm.
So
Well,
if you've ever
it
had
reminds
bulgogi,
me. I wonder if
try it
it's
out.
similar to like a Korean barbecue places where you go get
Well,
the
yeah,
noodles. I wonder
that's
if
where I
it's sim-
first that's where I first got bulgogi is
okay.
EG's 4. That's Korean barbecue. It's not sushi.
Yeah.
So yeah, so like the one thing I don't like is you cook your own food. And I'm like, dude, why am I paying you for me to cook my own food? Like, can I just fucking order and you bring in the cooked food already? Like, come on.
Yeah. Okay.
Um,
So that actually I've seen that in anime before where they have places where you order the food and then like there's a table and they have like in the center there's like a little grill almost.
yes, that's how it
And
is.
okay. Yeah. Okay, cool.
And
I'd love to
the
try one of those
grill
one
is
time.
like it's what is the term? Convex. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's not a flat grill. It's not a bowl shape. It's convex. So it's
Yeah.
dome shaped, but not like insanely dome shaped.
Right.
Otherwise, it's hella weird. It's like, man, it's just like a ball in the middle of the thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, you throw your fucking meat on there. I've had baby octopus there before.
Okay.
Not bad except for the head.
Ooh.
Like the head. I don't know if we didn't cook it enough or something or whatever, but I mean, we didn't get sick or anything, like my dad and I.
Yeah.
But yeah, when you chew into the head, it is ooey gooey, bro. It's like,
Oh.
oh no. But and if you don't
Yeah.
have those gag reflexes, you're like, Like, I mean, I ate like 5 or 6 of them because they tasted good, but it's just that texture
Yeah.
just exploding. And when it explodes, it goes
Oh.
right to the back of your throat. And it's just like, oh, like,
Oh
oh,
man.
Jesus.
I tried octopus one time. Me and Bonnie had gone to a sushi place and I tried octopus one time there and I'd been wanting to try it for years and years. I'd never got the courage to, never could work up the courage. And I was like, she finally got it. She's like, you want to try something? I was like, you know what? Yeah, I'll finally do it. And it was just an arm. That's all it was, just a little
Yeah.
arm. And I remember I put it in my mouth and I started chewing and chewing and chewing and chewing. And it got to the point that it got to me mentally more than anything. And I started feeling that gag coming on. I was like, nope, I just got to just focus, just get through it. My eyes started watering and everything. And I was like, I just got to get it down. I just got to get it down. But it felt like I just chewed forever and nothing was happening.
That's
And I was like, eventually I'm just gonna have to swallow this thing whole because I don't know what else to do. Like, if I keep going, it's gonna get to me mentally. And it was just like, eventually, it's like, all right, just try to swallow it and keep it down. And that's it. And Bonnie's watching me this whole time. She's like, what? What's wrong? What's wrong? And so I'm like trying to tell her without like spitting out of my mouth, like it's really chewy and it's starting to get to me. Like I can barely handle this. And I got it down and it stayed down and everything. I was like, I don't know if that was like overcooked or something, or if that's normally how it was, but yeah, it wasn't for me. It wasn't for me at that particular time. So
how big of a piece did you grab?
it wasn't very big.
Okay.
I'd say maybe 2, maybe 3 inches long. It wasn't huge.
I'd say that's pretty big.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah, because like, when you have it with sushi, they're pretty small cuts already.
Yeah.
So they should just be bite-sized.
Okay.
So that probably was the thing, is that you probably had too much in your mouth. So there was no way for you to like, chew it down to small bits, swallow
Yeah.
it. Like you can't chew it down to a paste, unfortunately. Like,
yeah.
I think
Okay.
that's what you were trying to do. And which I think is what normal people try to do. They're like, yeah, I'm trying to get this thing so that I can swallow it without
Yeah.
realizing like, oh, it's like a goddamn gummy bear,
Yeah.
where I can swallow pretty much the whole thing whole if I wanted.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I love octopus. I do got to say, the baby domes, the baby octopus domes, that got to me. I don't know if maybe I was supposed to like turn them over on their heads and let that cook on the inside a little bit.
Okay. Yeah.
Maybe, I don't know.
I'll have to
but
refer to a
yeah, but that place has also gotten
expert.
ruined for me. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That place also got ruined for me because we just kept going there too often. And I was like, you know what? I don't even want to go.
Yeah.
Like that.
Yeah, that unfortunately happens with restaurants you frequent a lot. It's like it just kind of gets old, and it's like, especially when you order the same thing over and over, and you're like, you get stuck in that rut, and it's like, I kind of want to try new stuff, but I know I like this, and that's kind of what I come here for. And so it's like it's one of those things where it's like, do you try something new and risk not liking that, and then it just kind of ruins the experience for you, or it's So I get that.
Yeah, because I go there for the bulgogi. That's why I'm like, nothing else, man. Like, I don't really want to eat anything else. I just want this meat and I want to leave, but I don't want to pay like fucking $25, because it's all you can eat.
Yeah.
And it's just like, it's not worth it for me just to eat a bunch of goddamn meat.
Yeah.
But yeah, dude, it didn't take me as long as it took German to crawl it, because I think German was probably the first one to crawl those apartments.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he was kind of like, it was almost like he was like mapping it out, right? Because no one had been under there. So it's just like, what does under this place look like?
Yeah.
And as far as what I saw, like there is an open center, right? But this apartment complex actually had 3 partitions. So like like those apartment complexes where there's like a stairwell in the middle.
Yep.
Right. So like there's apartment 1, 2 on the bottom and 3 and 4 up top.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like that on both sides. So there's a stairwell on both sides.
Oh, okay.
And so there's like a slab in the middle. But obviously they for some reason only have 1 fucking crawl space. I don't know why they did this. So you have to go in from one side, and then so there's 3 partitions, one where the apartments on one side are, one where the stairwell is, and then one where the other 2 apartments are, floor apartments are.
Mm-hmm.
And so I see that, but like we're coming in through a corner. We're going in through the vents because there's no other way to like get in there. I had to pull like 4 cables at the same time. And so, I had to, I guess each corner of this building also has smaller partitions.
Oh, geez.
And you could tell that they didn't fucking think it through, because they cut holes to get into each partition.
Oh,
and they only cut them like big enough for a person of my size, bro. So I'm like, how did German do this? German's bigger than me. He's stockier than I am. And most of the people that I work with are bigger than me.
Yeah. German's not fat by any means. I do want to clarify that.
Yeah.
He's average size. He's maybe even like slightly below average for Americans,
But he's got a tummy.
Yeah.
Right. And I'm skinny and I have a tummy.
Yeah.
And I was like, what the fuck? Like I feel like there's literally only one other coworker that could possibly have fit through the ones that I went through yesterday. Cause I was like,
Yeah. So what happens if someone goes on a job and they can't fit through something? Like,
you don't do it.
You just have to push it off to someone else and get like,
well, you just don't do it through the crawl. You just have to do post wire. You have to do it through the outside, which is what the whole point of this is because all their wiring was through outside. And so the whole point was, we don't want to do, or the owner was like, this looks ugly. We want to take off all this outer cable and, clean it up
so
and mostly go through below. That's what?
Yeah. I said, so do it.
Yeah. And then the fucked up thing is, I think German mentioned this last time, is that the building owner was giving us shit. Not me yesterday, but like they gave like German and them shit. Like, hey, you guys, like, what the heck? You guys are leaving all this stuff around and blah, blah. And it's like, dude, like, what are you complaining to us about? Like, we're doing this on our like off time. Like German went in on the day off.
That's right. Yeah.
I don't know. He was supposed to go today to kind of finish off the work, but I don't think he's going to because of the weather, because it's snowing and shit.
Mm-hmm.
So they might have just pushed it off and be like, nah, fuck that. Not on my day off. But yeah, like they had to kind of like tell her like, hey, like you kind of need to give us time to finish all this stuff because we're not charging you for this. We're doing this as a favor, right? And
Yeah.
it's like this is free. You're getting this for free, and we're coming in
Jeez.
on our days off,
And they're
for
complaining
OT.
about, oh man.
Yeah, and they complain about the dumbest shit.
I don't understand why people do that. I get like you have certain expectations and you have, this is the way I want it and this is the way I picture it's going to happen. If someone's doing a job for you like that and they're doing it for free, I get like try to do it in a reasonable amount of time, try to do it the best you can and everything. At the same time, like you say, they're doing this in their free time. It's an extra thing. The company's not paying for it. You're not paying for it. Like, the company is paying for it because they're paying the salaries, obviously. But, like if it's not perfect, if it's not absolutely exactly what you want it to be, give them a little slack,
Or fucking do it yourself, man.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. Crawl under there yourself and see what it's like, and then complain to them like, oh, it doesn't look perfect, blah, blah, blah. I just like,
yeah. But yeah, it took me, when I got out, I had to ask him, I was like, how long was I down there? Because I didn't come up at all for air at all. I was just like, hand me the next bundle of 4. There was 8 cables that I pulled through there.
Jeez.
But I did them in bundles of 4, thankfully. So
yeah,
I only had to really crawl twice, but dude, like it wasn't very tall to begin with. And after a while, like my neck and my lower back were hurting from like lifting myself to face forward. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So that was like hurting. Like I kind of did what like German said, like get on your back like MGS4 and just kind of like start wiggling backwards like that. Sometimes I just like gave up. Sometimes I just like laid down and I was just like contemplating my life decisions. I'm like, what the fuck am I doing? And fucking then I get back up and I'd go. But yeah, those little crevices to get between partitions, like if you guys out there know, like if you guys have ever crawled houses and you're like, you've run into those where like, why didn't they make this bigger? Like, what the fuck? Like, what is wrong with you guys? Like, you clearly know someone is going to have to come down here for plumbing or AC or whatever they have in the building. Like, make it accessible. I don't understand why people don't. Like, I literally was almost like, I want to come back here with a fucking like, what are those called? Like a rock drill. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
And just fucking break some more just to make it a little
drill
fucking
like
taller.
Simone has.
Yes. Yeah. Gurren Lagann, you guys.
Yeah.
I now know the reference. Yeah, I almost wanted to take that fucking like that little drill key to the owner and be like, fucking fix these buildings and just zap her out of existence and leave a fucking giant hole in her chest.
Oh man. Yeah.
But yeah, and then at the end, like just to crawl back, like I saw copper tubing and like I felt it. I was like, okay, it's not hot or whatever. And I'm like,
that's good. Yeah.
Could it support my weight? And so I went on my back and I literally just pulled myself back with it. Like, just like, I don't know how to explain it. You know what I mean? Like,
I understood what you're talking about. Yeah.
Like you cliffhanger,
drag yourself and pulled yourself along the pipe. Yep.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I just pulled myself along the pipe. Like that was like the only way. I was like, I gotta do this fast. Like I'm fucking dying down here.
Yeah.
But yeah, my coworkers, they saw me and they were just fucking cracking up. They're like, "You look like fucking Pigpen." I'm like, "I know, dude." Like I had so much dirt all over me because it was like that loose dirt.
Yeah.
There was very little plastic lining, and if there was any, it was bunched up. Like it wasn't well distributed.
Yeah.
At one point, I saw mummified frogs. Like they were just like calcified, dead fucking frog carcasses. I was like, Jesus Christ.
I was actually curious about that with your line of work, like, because I'm sure like you're supposed to be somewhat presentable for your customers and everything, especially if you're like going indoors. What happens if you have one job early in the day where you're just filthy and covered in dust and dirt and all sorts of?
They do tell us to bring in like a spare pair of clothes, but nobody fucking does that.
Yeah, I was like, and even if you do, if you get a second job that gets you dirty, what are you supposed to do now? Like,
yeah, then what?
if you get unlucky and you get like 3 jobs in one day of crawl spaces, and then you have to go inside someone's home.
Yeah,
like I know you have those little booties or whatever you can when it's wetter or whatever outside, like that'll protect the shoes, but like. I'm sure that there's got to be customers out there that if they take a look at you and you're covered in dust, they're gonna be like, nope, send someone else or something. Like, yeah, has it ever happened to you at all, or have you ever heard that ever happened to someone?
I mean, this was a special occasion because this was like a project day. Like I had I had no work, and I told my super, I
Okay.
was like, "Hey, I got nothing," and he's like, fucking like, well,
Like
because
you do
we need,
now.
yeah, because we needed to take my truck in for for snow tires, right?
Oh,
And
okay, yeah.
what better timing? Like it's snowing today
Yeah.
down here. So he's like, well, we got to take in your truck for tires. So tag along with these two dudes. I'll take you out of quota for the rest of the day. And so that's kind of how it happened. Is I tagged along with two other dudes that were on a project. So one of them was gonna crawl it until I showed up. And so I was like, well, fucking, you guys already did a bunch of work at the beginning of the day. I'll do this one.
Yeah.
And this was like the middle of the day. This was like 1 o'clock or 1:30 or some shit. And yeah, I crawled out of that thing like at almost 3. So
Jeez.
yeah. So I mean, I volunteered because I was like, well, I heard it's rough. I heard it
Yeah.
from German. I heard from our other buddy Mike, who was the other skinny guy that could possibly do it. So yeah, I was like, I heard it's rough. So and one of the guys that was with us, he's a lanky dude, but he's tall.
Mhm.
So that is also like a detriment when you're in a
Yeah,
crawl space.
when you're
being
trying to
too
turn
long.
corners, yeah.
When you're too long height wise, you're like, how the
You only
fuck am I
have
gonna
you
get
only
around
have
this?
so many places you can bend, and
Yeah.
some of them can only bend one way, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he's got like 3 or 4 inches on me, but I was like, I'll
Jeez.
fucking do it. Which I mean, I regret it and I don't, because now I'm like, I'm never doing that again. Whoever's fucking next up, you're fucking next up. I'm not doing it. So I've excluded me from the, I've drawn the straw. I'm out of it.
Yeah.
Who next, please?
You did your good deed, now someone else's turn.
Yeah, but that was definitely a special occasion. That was definitely like, you're on project. You're not going to go in someone's house after that.
Okay.
If anything, there would have been like, go home, take a shower, bring some new clothes, and then come back. I think
Yeah.
that would be the only thing that they could really say if I was close to home. Yeah, because there's been other times where, yeah, I've crawled 3-4 times in a day, but I've never come out that filthy. Like,
Yeah.
like my sweater was caked. Like it was like mud. It was nonsense. And
Yeah.
there was so much dirt in my pants that my knee pads were rendered useless because the dirt was going to where my knees were, in between my knees and my pants. And I was like, well, fuck. So yeah.
man.
And then I scratched the ever loving shit out of my Apple Watch. I was so sad, dude.
Oh no, that
And there's
sucks.
there's like dust in the buttons. I'm like, dude, I don't know if this is gonna last any longer. Like I didn't realize, I was like, I should have taken this off. Because I took off
Yeah.
almost everything else, but I didn't take off my watch. And I was like, fuck.
Yeah, that's one of those things you don't think of until unfortunately it happened. It's like, yep,
Yeah.
shoulda, woulda, didn't.
Yeah. I was a mile away in that fucking apartment complex. I was like, nope.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyways, you
Jeez.
crawl any apartments
I have
recently?
I have had the fortune of not having to do that. So yeah.
There been any
but
attics?
I've been in a couple, but not a lot. And it was a long time ago, so nothing recent. But yeah, no, I agree that like a lot of those places should be made way more accessible. I mean, even as much as like make it like half a floor's worth of space in there, so you can at least like walk knelt down or something, because like
Yeah, crouch walk.
yeah, like because I can't imagine like having to carry tool belts and all sorts of tools depending on what you need to do, and like you say, cables and
Dude, and they
all that kind of
expect us, like, part of the safety, what you're supposed to be wearing down there is a hard hat. It
What?
doesn't fit. There's no way I
Yeah.
would have fit through those holes.
Jeez.
My head barely fit through those fucking things. I felt like a cat. I was like, well, if my head fits, then the rest of my body should, right?
Yeah, that's how that works. Yeah. Oh man. Jeez.
No.
Yeah, that like. Well, it's like the whole thing with cars, right? You have the mechanics versus engineers. Like
Yeah.
engineer says, "Oh, this is the best place to put the oil cap." Mechanic says, "Hell no, it's not, because now I can't reach it."
Yeah, yeah.
So, it's just that constant struggle of making things compact and tighter to save space and costs, and yet big enough that the people that need to do the work and repairs and everything can also get through there and reach and get to where they need to, and so it's just, yeah, give them a break, just, I understand we need to make things smaller and more compact, and especially
think
when it
ahead.
comes to, yeah, when it comes to, cutting costs and everything, it's expensive. I get that. But, most of these companies are building these apartments and houses. They have plenty of money. Put out a few extra $1,000 or $100,000 or whatever it costs. You're going to get it back in rent anyway. We all know how it works, Like you're not gonna cut a loss because you gave him an extra few feet of room.
Yeah.
So it's just like it's one of those things where it's like you want to make those people that are designing these things be the ones to go down there. Like, okay, you think 2 feet is enough for a crawl space? Here, crawl through here and fix this while also carrying all this stuff and wearing the
Right.
proper equipment.
Right.
So like, oh well, the average person, oh, fuck that.
Yeah.
So, but it's just, yeah, I always thought the same thing. Like I felt bad anytime I've seen people crawling into those crawl spaces, especially the ones that are just like straight up under a house.
Yeah.
And it's just dirt down there, and like you say, all sorts of bugs and rodents and frogs and things, and most
Yeah.
of them are dead and just decaying there. It's like you gotta do that for a living, and then go to someone else's houses and do that again. It's like, man,
Yeah.
I got a
Some
lot of
people got
respect for them.
some really gross, gnarly crawl spaces.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I was in one, I think, last week where as soon as I opened the crawl space, I knew there was dead rats in there. Like just the smell. I was
yeah.
like, fuck. But thankfully the cable was right at the entrance of the crawl space. I was like, oh, thank goodness,
yeah.
dude. Like
Oof.
that's one where I'd definitely be like, hey, I gotta go home and change.
Yeah.
Like I just crawled through dead rat feces or whatever. Cause I guess there's been a case in Dayton. I don't know what disease rat poop carries, but I guess there's been a couple cases in Dayton.
Oh wow.
So we literally just talked about it yesterday in the meeting. Like, hey, confined. It was so coincidental and ironic that it's just like we're gonna talk about small spaces. Like be careful about like we never go into manhole covers or whatever, but we know we go into crawl spaces and blah blah this and that. And there's a case in Dayton from some whatever disease. And literally the first thing I do that day is I fucking crawl a giant goddamn apartment complex. I was like, fuck, man. They called it.
Yeah.
Yeah. What you been up to?
Jeez. Not a whole lot. My wife is going through some stuff. We got a bunch of appointments lined up kind of for a new treatment for her. It's called ketamine. It's a
Special K?
Yeah, Special K. It's a somewhat experimental drug, I believe. It's been around for a few years. I know that. But when she first heard about it, you had to go to Mexico in order to get any treatments for it. It's an infusion you get.
I know a guy down the road.
Oh, okay.
And
then it was available in LA last she had heard apparently, and her doctor she is prescribed multiple opioids, and her doctors where he works they're trying to lessen that because of course the state of California is fighting the opioid epidemic, which largely was caused by doctors giving out like candy. But instead of fixing that problem, let's just take it away from everyone who needs it. That's our medical system in a nutshell.
Right.
Anyway, so he's been trying to get her to try other things, some other types of remedies, other forms of medication or therapies and things like that to see what work. And she's been dealing with this most of her life. So she's been to all the specialists. She's been on the road. She's been around the block, went around again, several times. And she's always been told by specialists, there's nothing we can do. There's nothing we can do. So he started talking again, like, oh, I need you to go see his pain specialist. I need you to go see this person, that person, all that kind of stuff. And she's, at this point in her life, she's mostly bedbound. Like 99% of the time, basically 100% of the time, she's in bed. Other than when she has to get up to go to the bathroom or, things like that, which she does once or twice a day. And then once every 6 months or so, she has to go in for a doctor's appointment or to get her urine tested. That's about it. And those are the only times she can get up, and that's about all she can get up. So she went to go see this pain specialist in UC Davis, which isn't too far from us, luckily. And they were telling her that, oh, well, we have ketamine. And her eyes just lit up instantly because she didn't know it was available anywhere near us. And so she's like, yeah, I'd love to give that a try if it works. Apparently it's got all these extra benefits for her that work really well. It helps with depression and all that kind of stuff. As actually one of the side effects, funnily enough, as it's meant for like nerve damage and nerve endings and stuff like that. It helps with like nerve pain.
Okay.
But it also helps with in a lot of cases, people who have like deep depression and stuff like that, which she does have. So it also helps to treat all that kind of stuff. So she's like, yeah, absolutely. I'd love to try it. And so they were telling us first, like, okay, you have to come in You have to come in, schedule another appointment, about a month from now or whatever, to do a physical, and then we'll continue from there. And
Mhm.
they were saying, yeah, normally we do ketamine infusion, once a week for a month, 4 weeks in a row. And what they have to kind of build it up at first and see how your tolerance is. They start at real slow and real low doses, just to see how it affects you and everything, because there's all sorts of adverse side effects as well.
Right.
And so they're like, "Oh, you have to come in once a week." And we kind of looked at each other and looked at the doctor and said, "Yeah, there's no way that's happening. There's no way she would be able to safely do that and not end up in the hospital." And so they said, "Well, the lady, the pain specialist said, well, let's just try it. Let's see what happens. If you need to quit, you always can, but let's just try it if you're willing to." Like, well, okay, yeah, we'll try it. We'll give it a shot. And so we scheduled our next appointment a couple weeks later. And then we went back about a month after that. I think it was like 5 weeks, something like that. And back to do her physical, and it was just a lady telling us about, okay, this is how it works. This is what you're expected to do. They took her vitals and everything like that, and asked her some questions, and we went over all the side effects and everything. And it was nice because the lady was very, very blunt with everything. She didn't try to sugarcoat anything. And my wife in particular very much enjoys when they do that, because she's like, I know what my conditions are like. I know what they can lead to. Just tell me how it is. Don't try to beat around the bush or say like, oh, well, this might be, just tell me how it is. I might be upset, but I will deal with it. I've learned this over, she's learned this over the years of her life and everything. And so we talked about it. And again, she'd mentioned like, okay, you're going to have to do this once a week, blah, blah, blah. And we were like, yeah, that's not going to happen. We want to try it, but we cannot do once a week. Can we do like once a month, once every 6 weeks, whatever? And she's like, well, that's not usually how it works, but I'll talk to so-and-so and see what they say. So, all right, that's fine, whatever. And my wife, one of her concerns was that it wouldn't be approved by insurance, because I guess a lot of people who go in to get this done don't get it approved by their insurance. And so they end up getting denied. So they said it'll take a couple weeks. It takes up to 2 weeks for that to happen. And we will call you and let you know, if it's approved, we'll go ahead and schedule the appointment. So sure enough, about a week and a half later, they called us back and they said, you've been approved. We want to schedule for the adult cancer center where they do their infusions.
Mhm.
And get you started. And we said, okay, well, how's it going to work? And they told us again, once a week. I said, again, that's not going to work for us. We cannot do that. We cannot commit to once a week. I said, I don't want to have a situation where we come in, do it once, and then quit. And you guys think like, oh, you're just looking for drugs. You're just looking to get high, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Because that's not what we're doing. And if she does that, it could, or if they think she's doing that, they could take away all her medications, which is not a good thing. We do not want to go there. So I was like, is there any way we can schedule this out for once a month or once every 6 weeks or however that works? They said, well, our order says this, so we have to do this. She says, however, you can call and talk to her pain specialist and let her know, talk to her and see what happens. I said, okay. Well, between when that had happened and when we talked to her pain specialist, her PCP had called to schedule another appointment for her. We normally do those every 3 months or so, and it's normally over phone or over the webcam.
Uh-huh.
But this one is an in-person appointment. And so we're like, crap, because it lands at the beginning of February. And if we were doing once a month, that would interfere with us going to UC Davis. And so I was like, okay, well, let's figure out how we're going to do this. And so we finally got the approval from her pain specialist that we can do the infusions once a month, which means it's a lot more likely to be able to work. We're still going to be pushing it. It's still going to be really hard on her, but we're going to give it a try. However, her doctor appointment, we don't know when to schedule her infusions yet, because we need to figure that out. And so we had emailed him basically saying like, does this visit need to be in person? If so, we will do that. And we'll schedule the ketamine stuff until after that. But that means we have to go back and do more appointments for that and get ready and sign more stuff again. But we will handle that. If not, can we push this back a little while? Just have this be a normal telephone or televideo appointment again, push that back a bit, and then we will come in person and see you. We had no problem, but it's just like, which is it? Because we need to figure out how we're scheduling this other stuff. So that's kind of where we are right now, is we're waiting for a response from her doctor to see when or if we need to go in person. If we do, then we'll schedule the ketamine after that, which, uh, of course, also means we will have to go back and I think do the physical again. I think that's the only thing we'll have to do. But we'll cross that bridge when we get there. But yeah, so that's basically what we're doing with right now is we're just waiting for appointments and seeing when we're schedule them and all that kind of stuff. So
Well, all that seems like fun.
yeah. Yeah, it's I mean she's got fairly bad anxiety. She's doing much better now that she got the answer about the ketamine. So now our biggest
Yeah.
worry is about the doctor's appointment. But he's been a great doctor so far. He's very understanding. He's very good for us. So I have no feeling that this is going to be any different.
Mhm.
Like I said, even if it is a situation where he does have to see us in person because of some regulation or they require it after so long or whatever, we will figure that out. We'll do it, and then we'll just do ketamine after that. We'll figure that out. It's not a big
Yeah.
problem, but yeah, it's just a big commitment trying to do that, and then doing the whole, possibly 4 months in a row, doing all that other stuff and everything, and it's a lot. And we even thought about like the possibility of if we did do it once a week, getting a hotel or something and nearby to where we could just stay at the hotel. But that comes with two problems. One, we wouldn't be able to afford to do that and pay for rent at our apartment, so we would probably lose our apartment. And two, we know for her, we don't know for me. So she gets SSI disability. If she's away from her home for more than 30 days or for 30 days or whatever, she can lose her income. She loses that month's income. And there's a very good chance that would happen to me too, because I work for a program called IHSS, which is also a state program. And I get paid to be her caretaker, essentially. If we're not at home, they might either cut my hours because I don't have the same responsibilities or whatever, or cut the hours completely because, well, you're not you're not at home, so we can't pay you to not be at home kind of thing. So,
Yeah, no, dude, that frustrates me to hear it. Just fucking this is I don't even know like the words. You know what I mean? Like
yeah.
you're living through it. So all I could do is just share your frustration that you can't just be free to do things that normal people can do on a fucking regular basis just because the
Yeah.
medical industry works against you constantly.
Yeah.
And
It's-
it could be
it's-
because, like you said, a couple bad apples ruined it for the entire fucking basket,
Mhm.
or whatever that expression is. But, it's the medical industry is not, it's not for people. It's for private businesses.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. It is definitely frustrating. At the same time, like I've been through it enough now that I don't feel frustrated anymore. It's more of like, okay, we know what barriers we have. We know what obstacles we have. What's the best way we can work around that? Where can we go? A lot of times, and this is not widely known. I didn't know about this until I had met her. With insurance and a lot of hospitals and stuff, you can actually get a case manager. And if you're having trouble getting something done or getting something approved or whatever, you talk to that case manager and they're like, okay, we'll take care of it. And they know all the back doors, all the side windows, everything, all those little
Okay.
intricacies of insurance and hospitals, all that kind of stuff. And they can get that all figured out for you and everything. I mean, my mom, when I was telling her about some of this, she even brought up, the Ronald McDonald House type thing, and how my sister, when she had her twins, they were preemies, and so she couldn't stay at the hospital with them, but she was staying at a nearby place where she could visit a hospital easily, and that was all paid for by the Ronald McDonald House charity. And she's like,
I was like, what are we talking about here,
Yeah.
Ronald McDonald?
yeah, McDonald's. She just stayed at McDonald's something.
Oh, okay.
But she's like, could you do something like that? I was like, well, no, because even then, like, we're not at home, and she would certainly lose her income. Like, for example, if she's at a hospital, if she stays at a hospital overnight, I have to report that to IHSS, and depending on how long she's there, however long she's there, so if she's there overnight, it's one thing. Like, okay, she, something happened, she went in, they kept her overnight, released her the next day, she came back home. That's one thing. I report that to them still, but usually they'll be like, all right, fine, whatever. You keep most of those hours still, you did some work, you're at the home, whatever, that's fine. But if she stays multiple days, for every day she's at the hospital, I don't get paid. because at that point she's under the care of the hospital, no longer under the care of me. I no
Damn.
longer get paid as her caretaker during that.
Jesus.
Yeah. So, yeah, so that's what we've been dealing with recently. Like I said,
Okay, some good news. Yeah.
yeah, it's good news because we have that, and even if that doesn't work out, there's another option we have. As far as it's a pain pharmacist or something like that we can
Okay.
go see, and apparently a lot of those are done over televideo, which makes that much easier too. And essentially, what they do is they don't prescribe the meds directly, but they say like, okay, the regimen you're on is working for you, so we can approve that, and that's what her doctor needs in order to continue to prescribing her medications.
Okay.
So luckily he's been able to continue doing that because she's being very what's the word for it?
Cooperative?
Cooperative. Yes, thank you.
Okay.
In everything she's doing, and she's giving it a try, and she's going to all these appointments and specialists and everything, and so I think that's why he's able to continue doing now. Whereas if we had just stopped and just like, no, we don't want to do that, he's like, okay, well, that means you're gonna lose stuff,
Right.
But it's just, yeah, the regimen she's on right now has been working well. She's been able to sleep well at night, and she has times of days and times during the week where some of the meds start to kind of wear off and she feels a little withdrawally and stuff. But for the most part, this is the best that it's been for a very long time for her. And so we want to at least keep this going. If not, if the ketamine works, that's awesome. Once she gets started, once she gets past those first 4 appointments, then she only has to do it like once every 3 months, once every 4 months, however long it lasts.
Yeah.
So that'll be a lot easier,
Yeah. Okay.
But once we get past that hurdle, if it works, we're good. That's one of her major issues taken care of, and that means she can have a better quality of life and everything like that. Then at that point, once we get past that, then they can start talking about, okay, where can we start coming back on some of the other medications, and where do we want to figure this all kind of stuff out and everything. And it's just about rebalancing.
Yeah.
Which if the ketamine works, we don't have a problem with. If the ketamine doesn't work, it's not a problem. We're just back to where we are now, which is fine,
Mm-hmm.
So, and like I said, we had that other option as well. So we're not too worried about it. I know she was at first, and I try to keep a more positive outlook, positive spin on it. And she's not, I don't want to say she's negative about it. She's not a negative Nancy. She just has the mindset of hope for the best, but expect the worst, and especially with medical stuff and the way it is and everything. And she's deaf, so she doesn't get to talk to these people herself,
Right.
So a lot of times she doesn't get to kind of speak up her own mind. So I kind of have to do that for her in a way.
Mm-hmm.
But then whenever we have doctor's appointments and stuff like that, I like to let her speak her mind, and let them know what's going on, so she has her voice,
Yeah.
And I try to stay without taking over. And I tell her, every once in a while I'll tell her, like, do I feel like I'm trying to, tell them for you? Am I mansplaining? Am I like, not necessarily mansplaining, but like, I don't want to be your voice when you can be your own voice. She's like, most of the time she's like, no, it's fine. You're doing good, or I appreciate it, or, it's unfortunately we still live in a world where doctors will listen to men sometimes more than women. And now she's older and everything, and she has a history that she does. She's a lot better off, but especially when she was young. And some of the stories she told me of, she'd go into the doctors and, oh, you're just making this up. Oh, you're just trying to get out of school. You're just trying to do this, do that. She's like, no, I'm not. I'm trying to get better, and it's just some of the stuff is stupid. She told me a story one time. They went to a pain specialist and they sat in the waiting room for 4 hours.
Jesus.
And this was 4 hours after the appointment had started, by the way. And her mom was taking off work and she was out of school and everything like that. And finally, the doctor came out and said, oh, well, if you're able to wait this long, you clearly don't need this. Excuse me?
God.
What? Like,
logic,
what,
bro?
Yeah. What kind of stupid shit is that? Like, what? Are you kidding me? You didn't tell us this was a test of endurance? Like, if that was the case, we would have come to you 10 minutes after the appointment started. Why are we not in here? And it's just like stupid shit like that is so dumb. And like you should be able to report the doctors and get them fired because that's so stupid. That is not a thing. No, you don't. Because how often do you have people like do the opposite and then they get punished for it too? Like, oh, you're complaining too much. You can't be seen anymore. Like it was so asinine to hear that story. I was like, I would have punched a lady, you know? Oh my
I would have
gosh.
punched a bitch, bruh.
Yeah. I don't care. Send me to jail. It's worth it.
Punk bitch neither. I'm no punk bitch.
Exactly. Oh man, send me to jail gladly. I just like, oh my gosh, some of the stories that her mom has had to deal with, they're put up with, and her, just like I am so glad that they got all that stuff worked out and everything. But it's just like I love my wife, and I will do anything for her. I will do whatever I can in my power to get her taken care of, get her the care that she needs. But sometimes just shut up and do your damn jobs. There's I understand there's bureaucracy, I understand there's red tape, rules and regulations and all the stupid stuff they got to go through. And I know that doctors sometimes their hands are tied and there's nothing they can do about it, But do something, At the very least, don't test us like that. Don't put us through stupid asinine things saying like, oh, you didn't come in after 4 hours, so I guess you're fine. No, that's not the case.
Yeah, that's like if you came in with your fucking like no limbs or some shit, and it's like, well, you can clearly fucking, stay out here in the waiting room for 4 hours. Doesn't look like you need this leg.
Yeah. Yeah, right? Yeah, yeah, you're not disabled. You're fine.
Yeah, I couldn't leave because I needed you.
Right?
My leg's falling off. Fuck.
Yeah. Yeah, it's some of the stories I've heard from her, it's ridiculous.
For sure.
And I will say, for the average American, if you have a heart attack or something quote unquote normal like that, we have some of the best care for that. If you are a healthy person in America, you have some of the best technology, the best doctors, the training, everything like that is top tier. Some of the best in the world. I will agree with that. If you have anything that is congenital or what's the word for it? Like long term or oh my gosh, I was just thinking of it. Can't think of it now.
Long term.
Yeah, like a long term sickness is
like a pre-existing condition.
Yeah, pre-existing conditions, things like that. Like if you have any of that sort of stuff, you're unfortunately out of luck because the system is not made for you.
Right. Yeah.
Doctors will look at you and they're, unfortunately, especially with younger doctors, their whole thing is I want to help people I can heal, people I can make feel better. Chronic, that's the word I was thinking of. If you have a chronic condition,
yes,
you cannot be healed. They cannot make you better. So they either give up or they'll just point they send you down a bunch of rabbit trails, down a bunch of, go see this specialist, this specialist, this specialist, this specialist, and they just, go see 10 specialists all at the same time and let them figure it out. I don't want to do it. I don't deal with it kind of thing. So it's very rare to find a doctor who's both old enough to know that they don't know everything, but also not so jaded with the system or no, I know what I'm talking about. You don't. So here's what we're going to do kind of thing,
Yeah.
It's very tough. And to find doctors that are just right for chronic patients. If you know anyone who's a chronic condition and they find a good doctor, they will stick with them to the ends of the earth.
Yeah.
We had a really good doctor before, Dr. Hutchins, before our current doctor. And we loved him. He was very, very friendly, very open. He wasn't a doctor. He was a nurse practitioner. And so we loved him. He ended up moving away. And that was one of our biggest fears was, crap, now who we're going to end up with? What's going to happen? And he had recommended us to another doctor who actually ended up getting a promotion and became the manager of that hospital, that doctor place. And so we went with his second choice. And at first we were worried. It was the doctor we have now. And at first we were worried because he clearly wasn't reading her charts. He wasn't reading her history. And she has a port in her where we do regular saline infusions. And he didn't know she had one apparently. And we're like, this can cause a lot of problems because if he doesn't know what's going on, how is he going to handle all of her medications, And there's always a chance when she gets a new doctor, she can say, nope, you're not going to do these medications anymore. We're going to try this now. And it's one of our biggest fears of changing doctors. Again, if you're a normal, healthy person, it's not usually a big deal. I mean, I told her when I was younger and when I had insurance and everything, I would go see a different doctor each time. And it didn't bother me none. I'm just going in for regular checkups and preventative stuff. And that was it. Every once in a while, if I have a cold or if my asthma was acting up, I might go in for that. But for the most part, it's just normal checkups and They'll do a quick physical and you're fine. Okay. Every doctor is trained in that,
Yeah.
so that's easy. But it's, when you have chronic stuff and many, many, many chronic conditions, especially rare ones, that's when it starts to get tougher. So if you know anyone with chronic conditions and you know of a doctor who is willing to work with people like that or is good with those, try your best to match them up. Yeah. And I understand as most people who don't have chronic conditions, normies as we're called, that we don't always pay attention to that. But I like to challenge you all out there. Take a look into it. Whether you want to be more active or just if you just want to be observant or whatever. Look into it. Odds are there's someone in your life who has a chronic condition. You may not even know. Ask people, talk to them, just find out. Because a lot of times people with chronic conditions don't like to just go around sharing, oh, hey, by the way, I have this. It's not
Right.
It's not something not something to do normally. It's not like, hey, how's your job? Oh, I do this for a living. That's not their thought about it. But and disabilities come in all shapes, form, and sizes. You may say someone who's walking fine one day and the next day they're in a wheelchair. My wife actually one time she was parked in a handicap spot and someone saw that she was parked there and she had the placard and everything, so it was legal. But they saw that she was walking and and she says, I know they had the best of intentions, but at the same time, they made things worse because they put a bunch of trash on her car, thinking she was just a normal, healthy person who either was using someone else's plaque or,
Right.
Parked illegally or whatever, And she's like, I appreciate that you tried to stick up for the people who need the spot. However, I am one of them. I don't always look like it, but at the same time, like she had to spend that extra time to take the trash off and that wore her out even more, but it's just one of those things. Be careful what you do and look around you, pay attention, try to take notice. If you notice someone who has, they're constantly tired, they're, oh, I can't hang out today, I'm not feeling well or whatever it may be, try to pick up on those things because they will appreciate you to the moon and back for just the littlest things.
Yeah, because it's something they carry with them forever that it's like they might feel that they're a burden if they mention it to you.
Yep. That's exactly it. Yeah.
So it's like it's they carry that. They might feel shameful about it. Like, oh, I don't want to bother you with my things. And it's they might be just embarrassed. Like, so if like Chris is saying, if someone like looks like they're struggling and have a hard time admitting it and looks like they could need help, like Chris said, if you know doctors that deal with chronic conditions and stuff, that's a good idea, Chris. Fuck yeah.
Yeah. But that's my PSA for today.
You made me think of because I've been wanting to watch this movie for a while, and then I was listening to I've lately been listening to Smartless.
Mm-hmm.
They started the podcast like when the pandemic started. Jason Bateman, Will Arnett, and Sean Hayes.
Yeah.
And they had Brendan Fraser on one of the episodes. And if you don't know who that is, that's Encino Man. Encino Man / the Mummy guy. For me, he's always Encino Man.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, he was amazing in the Mummy movies. Maybe not the third one. Well, he was amazing. The third movie sucked.
Yeah. That's well put.
Yeah. And he also, he showed up in Scrubs a couple times.
That's right. Yeah.
Man, one of the saddest episodes ever. Literally, my wife cried on that last episode with Brendan Fraser. No spoilers, but if you guys haven't seen Scrubs or in the middle of watching Scrubs, Brendan Fraser, amazing in that show.
Scrubs in general is amazing. They did the perfect balance between reality and how it actually is in the hospital and getting just the right amount of humor in there as well.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of doctors react videos to that and it's one of their favorites. They top notch, all around.
Yeah. Well, the guy who they based JD off of, he was a real doctor. So they did their damnedest to make sure it was medically accurate, I think they had a few flubs here and there, this, this was incorrect, whatever. And they put a lot of effort into that show. But anyways, the movie that I wanted to watch for a while, if you guys are fans of Darren Aronofsky, he makes really intense movies, starting with Requiem for a Dream, The Fountain, Noah, The Wrestler, Black Swan, Mother. Mother was probably the most intense. I don't know, that one and Requiem for a Dream. Requiem for a Dream ruined my life. But the latest one that he did, I believe it's the latest one, was called The Whale, and that one is with Brendan Fraser, and it won like all sorts of awards and stuff, and it's about like he was like, what's the word, like incredibly obese is this character, like just needs help getting up pretty much, and that's what the whole story is about. You know, it's him. Brendan Fraser plays this guy, and he's estranged from his daughter, and basically the movie is him just trying to mend that relationship. But it's great. Like it touches on things that people don't like talking about, like, you know, religion and stuff. Like Darren Aronofsky is an agnostic. If you're not aware, just watch Noah, which is about Noah's Ark, and you know you'll feel all the well, actually not agnostic, sorry, atheist. You'll feel all that atheism throughout that movie.
Yeah.
But it's just the way you're talking about, like people with chronic issues, like overeating and obesity and stuff like that can be chronic when you're trying to help somebody. Like,
oh
like,
yeah,
dude, you need to stop. You are eating yourself.
There's
to
all
death.
sorts of eating disorders. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like you talked about earlier, bulimia, you know, that's one of them, anorexia, binge eating. Yeah. All that kind of stuff. It's
But yeah. If you ever get a chance, watch it. It's on HBO Max. It's really good.
Okay.
But yeah, you just made me think of that. Yeah. Anyway, The Whale, pretty awesome. It won awards for a reason. It was great.
Yeah.
It took me a while to watch it, but I was like, oh man, I'm so glad I finally watched it.
Nice. I'll check that out. Yeah.
Yeah, but now that you guys have heard us ramble for fucking an hour about our lives, Chris, you said you have some news?
Yeah. So I know we've talked about before, the Pokemon versus Palworld thing and stuff going on with that. And since then, there's been a few things that have happened. Pokemon Company came to the U.S. Patent Office and did 3 patents that were just approved a lot quicker than people expected it to be, and nobody challenged it or anything. It just kind of went through, and people were suspicious of that. One of them was for something about a sub character that fights for or with you, whether automatically or like you send it in kind of thing. And then the other one was there was another one for a mount that you can ride that can fly, that if you go to the ground will land automatically without having an input. And that was 2 of them. And again, these were just kind of pushed through, and a lot of people were like very suspicious of it. Like, did Nintendo grease their palms? Was there some sort of stuff going on between them and the office and everything like that? Because normally, even if it's like a groundbreaking patent that someone's coming in, it's definitely the first of their kind, blah blah blah, they will always challenge it, almost always, you know. And so they found it to be very suspicious and everything, that this was just approved, and nobody seemed to challenge it or think anything of it or anything. And so a lot of people were very upset with that, rightfully so. And that kind of did damage not just to Palworld, but to a lot of companies, and any company that would try to start up in the future with those type of mechanics. Nintendo would absolutely shut them down. And there were people that say actually Nintendo themselves had, you know, lawyers that were saying, oh, well, you know, they can always fight in court, blah, blah, and they'll probably win. Yeah, but they don't have the resources for that like you do. You know, if you have some indie company that's starting up, or even a AAA company, they're trying to get a title out there, they're not going to spend the money and legal resources to try to fight you and then make the game. They can't afford to do that.
There are no lawyers more relentless than Nintendo lawyers.
Yeah, exactly. And so it's like, you are technically correct, but in reality, nobody's going to be able to do that. And you know that, and that's why you're saying this, you know. And so there were a lot of Nintendo fans, a lot of Palworld fans, both sides of the fence were very upset, you know. And then several weeks later, they tried to go to Japan, and from what I understand, they were not the same patents they were trying to file in Japan as they were in the U.S. However, Japan, and let me start by clarifying and saying Nintendo has won 100% of court cases that they have fought in Japan. 100%. There is not a single court case they have lost. That is their home turf. That is where they win everything, you know. Japan's patent office denied their patents, and I don't remember what they were. They weren't the same ones they had filed in the U.S. I know that, but denied them on the grounds of you don't have proof that this will not stifle future creativity in games. And I was like, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's the way the U.S. Patent Office should have handled it. And then I think it was like maybe a week later, and I don't. The timing could be just slightly off because I don't know when the news came out versus when I heard it. But I heard that the leader, the guy in charge of the U.S. Patent Office, came down and said, I'm rescinding these patents until you can prove that, again, the same thing, that these don't apply to other games, and that it will not stifle creativity in the future of future games. And you'd known this as well, but of all game companies, Arc
Yeah.
is the
That
one
was
fighting
funny.
them on this. And I was like, that's awesome. Way to go. Like, it makes me want to buy Arc, all forums, all consoles, support them, because it's like, you guys deserve it at this point, you know? But so it's good news. They're not out of the woods yet. You know, there's still the issues going on, and it's not a for sure nail in the coffin of Nintendo, but it will certainly work against them if they continue to take this to court. The courts can look at this, Palworld can bring it up and be like, look, this is what they're doing, and it's, you know, it's been denied and everything. So it kind of acts against Nintendo, not definitively, but it's like, well, now you've just lost some of your validation. You know, you have no proof that what Palworld is doing is causing as much damage as you think as you say it is, you know. And especially with Arc backing them up now, like, that's just great. I hope that it's a fire that spreads and other companies start to kind of come forward too, because another company, Blizzard, is another very big company that could step forward and say, no, we use those resources. You know, we do those types of things, you know, with what's it called? WoW.
Yes,
World of Warcraft, you know. And they're a big company. They got the resources. If they chose to, they could fight too, you know. And you get that, and you get all these indie companies stepping forward, and Palworld and everything. If they all came together, they can take down Nintendo. And I want to clarify, I'm not anti-Nintendo. I'm anti the way Nintendo is acting. You know, I love Nintendo. I love Nintendo games. I love Pokemon. I don't play it anymore because the games are garbage. They are not what they should be in this time of age. You know, with everything being voice acted, there's no reason whatsoever that Pokemon games should not be voice acted. You know, if you want to keep the Pokemon sounds to what they are, that's fine. But there's no reason that everything else needs to be red. You know, there's no reason at all.
Or yellow.
There's just, yeah.
Get it?
Yeah.
Pokemon reference. Red, blue,
Nice.
yellow. Zing.
But yeah, it's they need the competition to give them a kick in the ass to improve themselves. And that's why they don't want the competition, is because they have all these people, you know, wrapped around their little finger, and someone comes along and we, you know, slightly threatened by them, so let's just shut them down. And that's been their answer to everything.
Yeah.
And that's not the way gaming should work. That's not the way anything should work. You know, a little healthy competition is a good thing. It causes growth.
Exactly. Yeah.
So, but yeah. So that was some good news. Couple of bits of things, especially the U.S. Patent Office. I did not expect that.
Me neither when I heard that.
There were a lot of people saying, like, once a patent goes through, it's nigh impossible, short of someone in the patent office themselves saying that doesn't work. And then I heard that the head of the patent office himself came down and was like, nope,
the big
that's
man
not gonna
himself.
be okay. Yeah. I was like, that's awesome. So I'm wondering if they're gonna do some sort of investigation, but I hope it's not the patent office itself that does an investigation. We need a third party, you know, to do that, because otherwise the patent office can say, oh, we just made a mistake. Sorry, whoops.
Yeah.
You know, slap ourselves on the wrist kind of thing and get away with it. But yeah, I'm almost certain there was some greasing of palms and money and stuff like that was involved, because how else would it have gone through so quickly, you know? So,
well, I
don't
mean,
know.
What I read was that there's like millions of submissions, you know, like on I don't remember what it was, like a weekly or monthly basis that goes through the patent office.
Yeah.
And they only have like, you know, less than 1,000 people looking at these things.
Yeah.
So it's like, just fucking, yeah, looks good to me. Approved. Nope. That whatever. Okay. This looks too similar to that one. Deny. Blah, blah, blah. So as far as what I understood is, I think it's that. I think it's just,
Okay.
too many filings going in and not enough people looking at them.
Yeah.
So that's why, as far as I understood, I think the Japan thing is what caught the head of the patent office's attention.
That makes sense.
And that's why I was just like, all of a sudden, he was like, "Wait, why did Japan deny Nintendo?"
Yeah.
You know, like you said, for a different patent, but at the same time, it was just like, should we be looking into this? That even if Japan doesn't approve something Nintendo filed, should we have? Like, let's look deeper. So I think that might be what might have happened.
It could be.
Maybe I'm just speculating that, but it's too like it happened almost right after Japan was like, nah, you know, like the news like hit so fast that I was like, holy shit, like that kind of backfired on them quickly.
Yeah.
Because usually that kind of shit is like months, you know, months go by and then someone goes like, hey, actually, no, you know, this all happened within a month. It was like, whoa.
Yeah, it was very quick. Yeah. And for government stuff, it was very, very quick.
Yeah, government shit takes forever. That's always like, what? Like every new article or video I kept seeing was just like, and now this and now that. And I was like, what is happening with this? I was like posting it in our Discord. I was like, look, fucking Nintendo's going down. Let's go. Fucking, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, that's great news for a lot of games. I mean, there's games that came out before Pokemon that had these kind of mechanics, you know. You can't file a patent for something, you know, in present time to like back patent, you know, like backwards patent stuff. Like that's ridiculous.
Well, that's the thing that made me laugh is even the games that came out after Pokemon had made those things, Pokemon didn't file this patent until 2024, which means that's when the patent starts. You can't, as far as I know, you can't backdate a patent. You can't be like, oh, everything back until, you know, 1999 when we first came out in the US or something. I don't think they can do that because how would you handle that? Like you can't just go back and be like, oh, well, this game, you know, for example, Slime Rancher was another example of something that kind of fit in those rules, you know, that are so broad that it fits almost every game. You know, Slime Rancher was one of them. It's like, well, what do? Do you just tell them like to refund every game all the money you've made off of, you know, merchandise or other stuff? You have to give that back, but that like they still paid out for you know, all these things like advertising and development and all that kind of stuff. Like you can't just give that money back. That's not how it works. So the company's going to end up going bankrupt.
Yeah.
You know, like what do you do in those situations?
Or you're paying Nintendo all that.
Yeah.
You know, not the customer, but it's like you said, like Digimon, Monster Rancher, these are all like blatant clones.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I don't know if was Pokemon the very, very first one that did this?
No, because I think Dragon Quest actually did it first.
Dragon Quest, like OG Dragon Quest, like NES?
Yeah.
Dang.
Yeah. Well, that's another thing people take issue with is that Pokemon is going after Palworld because like, oh, you're using our sprites, you're using our models, blah blah blah. If you look at some of the monsters from Dragon Quest versus some of the Pokemon, they're similar. I'm not saying that Pokemon copied them. I'm not saying that, oh, hey, let's take that and make it our own. But it's again one of those situations where just like between Pokemon and Palworld, you can see similarities. The same can be said about Pokemon and Dragon Quest.
Yeah.
And people have done side by sides just as much as people have done side by sides with Pokemon Palworld, you know? And it's like, look at this monster and look at this one. Tell me that it's not inspired by them. And that's fine. Let other games inspire you to make your own stuff. That's okay. You know? Don't go after if someone is stealing your ideas and copying your monsters directly and stealing your script and basically making a clone of your game and making it their own, then yeah, go after them. Do that.
Yeah.
But if they're trying to take some ideas from you and put a new fresh twist on it
or build on them
build on it or make slight tweaks or whatever, let them do it. You know?
Yeah.
I don't understand the greed part of it is what I don't get. You know, let games be games. Let the people decide what they want to play. If the game starts dropping down, it's because people don't like it. If they're going to another game, it's because that game is better. They prefer that game. That's all there is to it, you know? And I remember early on when Palworld first came out, it absolutely exploded. It was very, very well known for a long time. And then after a few weeks, as it happens, less and less people started playing the game. And someone, I can't remember who it was, had interviewed the lead of Palworld and said, like, how do you feel about that? And his response was essentially, it's fine with me. People loved it for a while.
It is what it is.
Yeah, people loved it for a while. They played it, and then they moved on to something else. That's what gamers do. That's what people do.
Yeah.
And more developers, more companies need to be like that, need to have that mindset that that's what happens. They liked it for a while. They played it. They had their fun. They moved on to something else. We still have people playing it. It's not like it dropped to zero, We're going to continue to update. We're going to continue to develop this until it's full release, and even them some, But it's not like he's not all butthurt about, oh, we want to try to win him back, blah, blah, blah. Because he knows how it works. He must be a gamer himself, Crazy how that works. But he himself said, like, yeah, that's fine. If they come back, cool. We'll be here waiting for him. If not, that's their prerogative. That's their right. As a gamer, they get to choose what they play. We're not here to ensnare them and keep them forever. I know a long time back we had talked about, a lot of companies are trying to go to live access and how it's such a bad idea because if everyone's like live access, no one has time to play any games anymore.
Right.
So you're shooting yourself in the foot. But
I mean, a great example of a game that was like, yeah, just play it and then move on was Outriders.
Mm-hmm.
Right. It was kind of a live service, but they said, we're not there's no DLC. There's no whatever. We have a beginning, middle, and end. Play the shit out of it and then move on.
Yeah.
Like, we don't want to make this an ongoing live service. We just want this to be a live service for those who want to play it from beginning to end.
Yeah.
There is an end,
Yeah. Yeah, there's a certain company called Bungie that could learn a few things from them.
Who?
Bungie? I don't know if you heard. I don't know if you heard them. They had this game called Destiny 2.
Huh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
But yeah, they crash and burn hard.
Oh man, this marathon thing is just burying them.
I haven't heard a lot of details about it, but boy, did they screw things up.
What is the game that is burying them? Like just came out a little while ago.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's like this. It's a live service that everyone's kind of like, this is what Destiny should have, or no, this is what Bungie should have learned for Marathon. It's I think it's also an extraction shooter because that's what they were trying to do with Marathon. Let me see if I can look for it real quick. Getting my rope. Arc Raiders.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So it's similar to like Hunt Showdown where it's PvP VE. So there's also an environment that you also fight. But, I haven't looked too much into it, but as far as I've seen, people are raving about it. They're like, damn, like this is sick. Like this is actually a live service like I want to play.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, Bungie, I haven't liked Bungie in a long time, so I don't feel bad for them at all.
No, I don't either. Yeah.
I think
they
since,
dug their own grave.
Yeah, I think since Destiny 2 is kind of where I stopped caring because they promised Destiny 1 would be a 10-year game. And then they came out with Destiny 2. They folded the content from Destiny 1 into Destiny 2, I think. Mm-hmm. So you had to buy the game again. Then they went free to play. Then they vaulted a bunch of the early stuff from the game. And it was just like, what the fuck are you guys doing? Then they blamed everything on Activision. And then they left Activision and then we're pulling the same bullshit. I was like, I knew it wasn't Activision. I know it's on Activision. This is your game. You guys are typing in the code for these engrams. You think Activision is going like, yes, make sure these engrams are dropping like really, really low rates. No, motherfucker, you guys did that. I wasn't fucking blind. And then when they talked about Marathon being an extraction shooter, I was like, wasn't Marathon like something completely different? Like, what are you guys doing? You're just using the name of the IP. And then come to find out, the lead artist of Marathon was stealing from someone on Instagram or some shit. And it's just like, wow.
Jeez.
What the fuck, dude? Like how many, not the first time they got caught stealing art styles and shit like that from people online. Like not the first time, Bungie. So that's why I was just like, really? How many more times are you guys going to let these guys get away with it? Like just fucking enough. Enough is enough.
Yeah.
But yeah, GG Nintendo. You fucked yourself in the ass.
Yeah. Get justly fucked.
Yeah. But yeah, speaking about disruption, because I think we were talking about what were we talking? You mentioned something about like disrupting the industry, like how I guess Palworld disrupted the industry or something like that.
Palworld shook it up. Nintendo has been trying to stagnate it. Yeah.
Right. Yes. Yes. So yes. So that's where my segue is to our sponsor.
Nice.
But yeah, things have stagnated as far as PC gaming, right? We're all on the fucking verge of just like riding outside of Microsoft's office. Like, can you fix fucking Windows 11, please? I used Chris Titus's tools, so Windows 11 is absolutely neutered on my system. So I don't really know what other people are dealing with. But I've heard it's not great.
Yeah.
Have you neutered 11? I know our friend Eric has.
Yeah.
Okay. So basically for us, it's like Windows 10 with even less ads and bullshit, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's nice. It's just an operating system. It gets out of the way. But for those who have like a full version, a home version, or a pro version of Windows 11, like telemetry slows down your system. You get fucking ads. You uninstall OneDrive. It reinstalls in the fucking update. You get rid of Candy Crush. It comes back on the next update. You don't want fucking, well, first it was Cortana. She'd keep coming back. Now it's, what is it? What's their AI?
Oh, yeah, I can't remember now. It's not Gemini. That's Google.
Oh, fuck. What is it called? Not important enough to remember,
Yeah.
but you fucking, but that's what they want is they want to push this OS to be an agentized or agentified operating system, right? Where you use the AI on the OS to do whatever you do, and they're just pushing a bunch of shit. And
yeah, and
we
in
as
return, they collect
gamers-
all your information for free.
right? Yes, yeah. and they want to tell you on what system you can install it. You need TPM version 2.0. No, you don't. If you're clever enough, no, you don't. They've even taken out the command line script that lets you bypass making an online account when you first install Windows. Like they've finally taken that out, which I honestly don't care because I need it for Minecraft. It's like the only thing I need it for.
Yeah.
Right. Because I can't play it without signing into fucking Microsoft account. So whatever. I'm fine with that. I've neutered it anyways. It can't hurt me. But yeah, guess who's back with new PC machines? That be Valve.
Yeah.
Valve is back with a fucking vengeance.
Our Lord and Savior.
Yes. Gabe Christ. The Steam machines. Yeah, the Gabe box. Yeah, the Steam machine is back. Oddly enough, the computer
Gabe
that my
Cube, sorry.
What did you say? Or what did we say? Gabe machine?
Gabe box.
Gabe box.
But it's the Gabe Cube.
I mean,
like
I think it's an even bigger slap in the face to Xbox if we call
That's
it the
true,
Gabe
yeah.
box. Now that I called it that on accident. But yes, the Gabe Cube, the Gabe box. But yeah, oddly enough, the first PC I bought for myself as an adult was a Steam machine. I bought it at Walmart. It's a little Alienware. I still have it. My son is using it. I've upgraded the RAM and the processor. Like it's I can't believe it's still working, to be honest. It's got an SSD in there and it works pretty great. I mean, for Minecraft and some it even runs like the Spyro remake on there.
Oh, wow.
Pretty well. Yeah. Like I think is it low or normal settings, but it's still fine. But yeah, obviously I had to put Windows on it because the original Steam machines had like SteamOS 1. And there was no such thing as like the Proton layer, right? That we have now for Linux.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's what those ones had. They had Linux and SteamOS version 1.
Yeah.
And Proton was nowhere in sight. So games ran terrible on the original Steam machines. And yeah, I mean, I put Windows on there and I used it for a long time. And now my son's using it. I think I've had it since 2015, 2014, something like that. Yeah, it's a 10-year-old PC and it's still kicking ass. So these new Steam machines, there's basically only going to be 2 versions of them because the old ones were actually it was like a partnership type of thing where Valve would provide the Steam OS and they would partner with people like Alienware and Dell XPS or whatever hardware manufacturer. So obviously they had to tune to multiple PCs, right? And you're just like, well, some of these work great, some of these don't, and subsidized probably. And like I said, I found mine at Walmart, $400. I think I spent more on the upgrade than the actual PC. these new ones are only going to be sold like online. They will not be out to retailers and shit. So just like the Steam Deck, you have to order it from Valve themselves. And so there's only going to be two versions. One that is like the 500 gigabytes model, and then the 2 terabytes. I don't know why they do that.
Yeah.
Everyone does this. Just do 1 and 2 terabyte. Who the fuck still uses 512 gigabytes?
Right. Especially like it's for Steam. 90% of the games are going to be digital downloads.
Yeah. I mean, well, no, all of them, 100%.
Yeah, true.
You can't even physically put, I mean, I guess you could put it on an SSD. That is one of the qualities, is you can put them on an SSD, or sorry, an SD card, and transfer them technically from like your Steam Deck to your Steam machine.
True, yeah.
So technically, yes, physical, more physical than Nintendo. Am I right?
Yeah.
But and yeah, I mean, yeah, I don't understand that. 512 is not enough. But at least the good thing is, Linux is a very, no matter what distro you kind of install, it's always very bare bones. There's not a lot of shit that comes with it, like Windows, right? Windows takes
bloatware,
yeah, Windows comes with so much shit. Even my fucking iPhone, the operating system on here is huge. Like, why is it so fucking big? It's like 20 gigs of my phone. I'm like, okay, well, I can only use 100 gigs of it now. So for my next one, I'm gonna go big again, because the one I had before, I think, was 256, and I was like, I don't need this much space. Went down to 128. Fucking mistake, because that's when we started doing podcasts.
Yeah,
and I was like, shit, I got so many files in here now. But yeah, I mean, these old boxes, I think are good entry level boxes.
Yes.
I don't think they're for the hardcore gamer. If I had the money, I would have one just so I could have it in the living room, as a novelty. Like, oh, cool. Like, I have a little Linux box down there in my living room where I can just play my games on my TV, because I already can kind of do that. I mean, not kind of. I do that in my house, my home network. I stream from my PC to my Apple TV and use a wireless controller. So, I don't need a box in the living room. I don't need to fight Linux, because that's one thing too that people are, I'm sure, going to be concerned about, right? When there's a problem with it, oh God, what do I got to do? I go to the command line? Like, what do I got to do? So as far as I understand, Valve has been really good about supporting SteamOS, which I think is 3.0 now, right? Because 2.0 was a while back. I think it's at 3.
I would think so, yeah. In the matter of time that it's been out. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, they've been adding features and stuff to the Steam Deck. It's like weekly updates. Like, they've been really on top of supporting their Steam Decks, the Steam OS, and the front end, the big picture Steam app and everything. So I'm stoked. Like, I remember a while back, our friend June, when they were, I think, were they announcing the Steam Deck or something like that, or I don't know, but I just remember telling him, I was like, this is the beginning, dude. Like, if you haven't jumped into gaming on Linux, like, do it now, just so at least you have like an idea of it. And I remember, I think I went like 6 months or so using Linux. Remember, I was just like, what's it called? What's the word? Daily driving Linux.
Okay. Yep.
Right. I don't know if you remember that, but I was like,
I do. Yeah.
I was streaming, from my PC that had Arch, like a distribution of Arch Linux on it. And it was pretty dope, like Proton was in its early stages, and I was like, whoa, like I was playing like Tomb Raider, like the original Tomb Raider, not the original, the
remake,
first remake, of the new trilogy. And I was like, this runs fucking amazing, like on Linux, and I have very little problems,
Yeah.
I was really impressed with Proton and all that stuff. And yeah, I've just been quietly like listening, like, what's Valve doing, blah, blah, this and that. And no, I'm stoked. I'm stoked for this to be a lot of people's first PC. You know what I mean? Because as much as Valve is saying we're not competing against consoles, we're competing against other PCs, right? That's why everyone's like, oh, what's the price going to be? Like, oh, if it's not priced the same or lower than a PS5, then they're fucked. And it's like, Valve's going to do what they're going to do.
Yeah.
And especially right now with tariffs, don't expect this to be much lower than $1,000.
Yeah. That's what I've been seeing is $7,000 range.
Yeah.
$700 to $1,000 range. Yeah.
Somewhere around there, which is reasonable. It is only 8 gigabytes of VRAM, which I feel a lot of people were crying about. And it's like, yeah, but I mean, look at the size of it. Like, what are you going to fit in there? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The thing is
Well,
70% cooler.
Yeah. And people need to keep in mind too, like bloatware takes up a lot of those resources that you're saying
Right.
it can't handle, without all that bloatware running in the background, it runs buttery smooth.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot better. Yeah, it's going to run a lot better.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and
when your system's not worried about playing the game and supporting Windows.
yeah. Hey, I got to restart now.
Just support the game. It's like, oh, it's this easy,
Yeah. So yeah. Yeah. As much as Valve is saying like, no, we're the price will be competitive in the PC space. I think it's going to draw a lot of people from console.
I think so too. Yeah.
There's a lot of disillusioned Xbox gamers out there. They've lost their platform.
Mhm.
I feel bad for them, but at the same time, I've been saying this for years. I wish the listeners knew me IRL because I've been saying this for fucking like a decade and a half. Like Xbox has never had a good relationship with Japan. They just have never really cornered the market. People can say everything they want about the 360, but bragging about one generation, that's not great. You know what I mean? And they still lost it anyways.
Yeah.
The PS3 came from behind and fucking beat them out by like a couple, 100,000 units. And, even Phil Spencer was like, I'm tired of being third to a fucking handheld, bro. They lost to a handheld.
Right? Yeah.
What the fuck?
Twice in a row too at that.
Yeah. Like, it's just, it sucks for all those Xbox gamers. Like, I feel you. I never bought one myself. I've played on some, but Windows should have always been just a publisher.
Yeah.
They should have just focused on making Windows a better gamer-friendly, game-centered operating system, or a version. They could have just made another version. I mean, they have so many versions of Windows. Why isn't there a gamer edition?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Home, professional, office.
Enterprise.
Why is there no game? Yeah.
There's no fucking gamer edition where you could just be like, I don't want anything on here except just the thing that runs my games.
Yep.
Which I guess is kind of what the Xbox ROG Ally X. Took me a second to remember that entire name. It's the worst fucking. By the way, yeah, Microsoft and your naming conventions are the worst.
Yeah.
So I can't remember your AI.
Xbox 360, Xbox One.
Yeah.
And it was in that order.
Yeah. And then Xbox Series X, like.
And then Series S, yeah.
You know how many kids got the wrong fucking Xbox for Christmas and their birthday?
Yeah. To the parents who didn't understand the naming scheme, got it. And it's like, yeah. PlayStation,
Meanwhile,
keep it
PlayStation,
simple,
yeah.
PS2, PS3, PS4, PS5.
Is this
then
a
you
new
have
one?
the PS4 Pro and PS5 Pro. And, even then, it makes sense.
But yeah, but that's what the Ally is supposed to be doing. Is it's supposed to be it didn't even manage to do this, but it's supposed to be a more stripped down gamer focused version of Windows on the Ally X.
Mm-hmm.
And yet still somehow they fucking can't get it. They still haven't figured it out. Like, I don't get it. I had little hopes for it, but at the same time I was like, it's Microsoft. They're going to somehow shoot themselves in the foot again. And they managed to do that. I haven't heard of like very many like updates to fix the issues that they have. Like there's always still like that pop up, like the UAC thing, that's like the user access control. Like, hey, this game is trying to fucking connect online. Do you want to let it connect online? Like, yes, it's a game. It's not a virus. I'm trying to play a game, Windows.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Linux is like, hey man, if you fucked it up, that was your fault.
Yep. Yeah. You're an adult. You should know the difference. Yeah.
Linux doesn't give a fuck.
Yeah.
Like, did you back up your shit? Sorry, man, you fucked up. Which I like. I don't need the PC to protect me from myself. Even though I got a virus like 2 months ago. But hey, I fixed it because I told Windows like, hey, let this executable run. I'm pretty sure there's a virus on here, but I need this executable to run. Then I'll deal with the virus later.
Right.
So still,
it was like back in the day with LimeWire and all that kind of stuff, Pirates Bay, all
knew.
that, Yeah.
You knew, bro.
You knew, yeah. There was no, I didn't know that would happen. No, you knew. And if you didn't know, you should not be messing around with that.
Yeah. Kazaa. Man.
Kazaa. Oh man, Napster.
Napster. Yeah, it was Napster, then Kazaa, then LimeWire.
Yep.
And then there was just so many forks of everything. There was one called
Yeah.
MX for a while that was only MP3s.
Kazaa.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that brings back some memories.
Love
Holy
Kazaa.
crap.
Kazaa Lite.
Yeah.
This one has less viruses. Oh, nice.
Yeah.
More ads, less viruses. Yay.
Yeah. Oh,
But
man.
yeah, I don't know. I'm stoked for this. Like I said, I don't really have the money to get one of these, but I encourage anybody who's kind of like interested in the PC space and, doesn't want to deal with picking parts and dealing with Windows also.
Well,
like
the thing I've noticed over the last 10, 15, 20 years is that Linux has gone from like one of those very niche things that like you really need to know what you're doing in order to use it to so much more user friendly.
Yeah.
That it's Windows Lite. It's Windows. I would say it's at this point it's like Windows 3.0, where it's just on the verge of becoming normal or easy to use for most people.
Yeah.
It's just on that verge. I
there's
think with a few more tweaks, and if they can get more games to work with it, it'll make that jump to Windows 95 and onward.
Well, there's I don't know how much you know about Linux, but there's thousands of distributions of Linux. So there's ones that are just command line. There are those that like you can get a mixture of both. There's some that are like really focused on only the GUI, so you barely ever have to go into the terminal, if ever. There's very, very user-friendly versions of Linux out there. Like Pop OS is like a great one to like kind of start with. People always recommend Ubuntu, which is kind of like where I really on my own dip my toe.
Okay.
But I think I started with like Red Hat back in college and stuff. There was one that was called Lindows just to fucking spite Windows. Like
I remember that one.
They made it look like Windows. It was hilarious. But there's so many. Like Arch is kind of like the one where like you want to be like on the cutting edge of Linux technology. So like that's why I picked it last time I did it. I was like, you know what? I just want to see how far I can take this before I break my system. I was willing to break my system. I was like, fuck it. If I'm going to dive in, I'm going to dive into the deep end.
Yeah.
And then there's versions of Arch that literally start with only command line. And your job as you're building your system is to pick what you want as your GUI elements. Like it literally doesn't have a Windows system. And you literally have to go like, what kind of Windows system do I want? And you kind of have to look online on another computer and be like, you build it yourself. You're like, how do I want my Windows to function? And a lot of people are like, I think X is what it's called. The one where it just like auto tiles windows. So you never have like the choice of moving a window around. So some people like that. It's like, I'm going to open this window and it's like, take full screen, open another window, divides it in half. And you can't move them anywhere. They're just tiled on your screen. And some people like that. And I mean, I didn't go that far. I definitely was like, no, I'm not going to build from scratch. So I think the one I used was like Garuda. It's like an eagle species, Garuda Linux.
Okay.
And it was like a gaming focused Linux. So I really liked it. I was like, oh, it looks cool. It's got all the drivers necessary for what I need. Cause that too, like Linux, if you don't have the drivers for something, you're so fucked unless you like do like the research to go get specific drivers. Even though that's getting better, like you said, a lot of Linux distros are getting wiser to like, you know what, we need some drivers included, which kind of contributes to the bloat. But that's up to you. Which distro do you want? A distro that's ready to go, can read your NVIDIA graphics card, by the way, because Linux is very AMD friendly and not very NVIDIA friendly.
Yeah,
and that's what's in this box. It's an AMD discrete graphics card. And I mean, 8 gigs might actually be enough for a Linux box because, like you said, there's not a lot of other bullshit overhead that the graphics card or the processor have to deal with to render your shit, And they did say, like, for sure, it's going to be, it's going to need some assistance from like FSR, right? Which is AMD's version of DLSS to upscale and to help with, hitting 4K 60 frames. But at least they're admitting that. They're not saying, like, oh no, this could do 4K 60 natively, no problem. They're definitely saying like, no, it's gonna need some help if you want to use, the upscaling and the frame generation and stuff like that.
at the same time, too, like, how many people actually have a 4K monitor? You know,
What do you mean, this big ass TV above my 3 monitor set that I don't use?
Yeah, but as far as like, because
Yeah.
you'll get questions from people who are console players like, oh, we can't do 4K, blah blah blah. Do you play 4K? Like,
Right.
I doubt it.
Yeah. And since you're on console, you're sitting so far away from that fucking TV, you're not going to notice the 4K.
Yeah, 1080 is fine.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know. Now that I've hit 1440p on this monitor, I understand now.
Well, okay, 1440.
But yes.
I'll meet you in the middle. 1440 is nice. Yes.
But yeah, no, I mean, I was still happy with 1080p.
Yeah.
You know, it didn't bother me as long as I still hit 60 frames. I was like, this is what I just want. I just want a solid 60 frames per second.
Right?
Why is that so hard to ask for?
Yeah.
So if this thing is going to hit this thing's going to hit 4K 60 frames with help, like it's going to do great at 1440p.
Oh yeah.
And if you have a 1080p monitor, it's going to fucking scream. So, I mean, obviously this thing is supposed to be for your living room, or it could just, I mean, it's not necessarily just for your living room, right? It could be your first PC.
Yeah.
You know, get a mouse and keyboard for this thing.
I think while they say they're not trying to be in competition with the console market, I do think it is a good bridge from console to PC.
Yeah, definitely.
Because to build a good gaming PC, a decent one anyway, is going to be about $1,200 or so to build it yourself. You can build it cheaper. It's at that point you have to look for sales. You have to be patient. You have to really look for stuff. I believe I spent about $1,200 on mine initially. It's about what I spent on Panthers as well initially. I think at the end it was about $1,400 for her PC. But you know, you can expect $1,200 to $1,500 for a decent gaming PC to build it yourself if you're not looking for sales and being, you know, very diligent about that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
you can build, and Jay's 2 cents, Linus Tech Tips, you know, all those channels have done building budget PCs that will run games just fine, you know, and you can do it. It takes a little extra work, and I don't have the patience for it. You know, I have the money. I'd rather just spend the money and get it taken care of, even if it takes a few months. I'm more willing to do that than taking a year or so, you know, trying to wait for sales and things to go on bargain or whatever, you know, and do that kind of stuff. So,
yeah,
you can do it. It's possible. It's not an impossibility at all. You know, don't let anyone tell you can't. But it does take some effort, and it takes some discipline, you know?
Yeah.
And I'm not one to do that. You know, if you can, awesome. And if you can do that and then turn profit on it and sell it to someone else for, you know, $100 more, go for it. That's fine, you know? But I can't do that kind of stuff. I don't have the patience for it. So
yeah.
But I think it'll be the perfect bridge between console and PC.
Yeah. The great thing about this right now is, since we know the specs of this thing, you can build your own right now.
Mm-hmm.
Like, just grab those same specs, you know, spend $500 on RAM because that's what the prices are right now.
Yeah. I saw that post you had on the with the two girls talking to each other.
God.
I hear he has 128 gigs of DDR5.
DDR5, yeah. What is happening with fucking RAM prices right now?
Oh, it's always something. I tell you, it's always
GPU
something.
prices went down and everything fucking skyrocketed.
Yeah.
Oh my
man.
God. But yeah, I mean, people like ETA Prime. I don't know if you watch him, Chris. ETA Prime always finds like a way to like emulate on anything. He's like,
okay.
He's very on top of like, ooh, the new iPad is a fucking GameCube emulation machine, and he always finds like the smallest form factor computers, and is like, check this out, and you can play this and that, and I don't know. He's great. I've been watching him for a long time, and he's like, I already built my own Steam machine, you know, and it's like sick. Like, this is exactly what people should be doing is learning from what Valve is doing, and, you know, build your own Steam box, little Steam machine thing.
Absolutely, yeah.
But honestly, the thing I'm most excited about with this announcement is actually the controller. I'm a big controller file. I don't even know if that's the way you can describe me. Whenever I see a controller that I'm like, oh, dude, this is going to be my next permanent controller. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I have like 2 King Kong Pro 2s, whatever they're called. They have Hall effect sticks and triggers, and I love them. My son uses one of them. My wife uses the other. And then I got my hands on, you know, the the one for my phone
Mhm.
that I also like stretched out to fit my iPad, like my full-size
Oh
iPad.
yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Also has Hall effect triggers and sticks. It's from GameSir. It's like the GameSir G8 Plus or some shit. Yeah, like I love looking for just new controllers and stuff. And yeah, so when I saw this controller, because I missed out on the first Steam controller, right? This is
Mhm.
again a second release of the Steam controller. The first one, everyone was kind of like, what is this thing? Right? I think it had one stick and then two no, was it one stick? No, I don't think it had any sticks. What did the first one look like?
I don't remember.
It had two capacitive um like circular. Let me look at this. Oh, okay, so it did have one thumbstick on the left side,
Okay.
and then it had a circular capacitive touchpad that with a little D-pad engraved in it.
Okay. Yeah.
And on the right hand side, it had another circular capacitive touchpad, and then face buttons opposite the thumbstick. Right.
Okay.
So let me put this in the Discord so you can see what the hell I'm talking about. Yeah, I
Oh,
missed
okay,
out on this
yeah.
thing. I really wanted it. My buddy Garth, he had it because I think he bought it with like the Steam link or something, but he bought it at full price. And there was a moment that I completely missed out. I don't know why I didn't jump on it. They were fucking giving these things away for $5.
Oh man.
And I didn't grab it, and I regret it every day of my life. It did have some back pedals in the back.
What would that be? Support the engineers?
That's right. Support the devs. When it's $5, support the devs. 95% discount, support the devs. But yeah, I always just wanted to experience it. And then when the Steam Deck came out and it had those capacitive touchpads again, I was like, dude, like I want a Steam Deck just for the touchpads. I think
Mhm.
touchpads are a fucking brilliant idea. I think PlayStation fucked up by putting it in the center of their controllers, right?
Yeah.
The DualShock 4 and the DualSense. Like these need to be somewhere else where my thumbs can be
Yeah, it's
there
not
all the time.
intuitive. Yeah.
Yeah. And so when I saw this new controller, which have you seen it?
I have seen it. I've not like really looked at it. So
Yeah. So this thing, it's basically mimicking the Steam Deck, where well actually it's like a PS4 controller, and then below the sticks is the touchpads.
okay.
So it looks like it's gonna be awkward as fuck, but in my brain, I'm kind of like, no, yes, they need to be close to where you can, because you need to use them like as a mouse.
Yeah.
So the reason they keep going back to this is because there's games like I can't think of anything modern, but let's say like Roller Coaster Tycoon, where you need a mouse to like select a bunch of things at once, like StarCraft or something like that, where you have to select hella troops and pan the camera around and swipe and do all these things. And like I want this controller. If the only thing I'm gonna buy out of any of these new announcements, it's the fucking controller.
Yeah.
Because as we all know, they also announced a third fucking thing.
The trifecta.
And of course, the third thing is something that I fucking recently just got. Which is okay because whatever, I'll get over it. I just bought a Meta Quest 3 like a couple months ago, and these fuckers are releasing another goddamn headset after like 10 years, right? Because the Valve Index is like a 10-year-old
It's
headset, which still reigns supreme. Like people are still buying it for $1,000. And so now there's going to be a new, I think they call it the Steam Frame, and it's going to it's going to have eye trackers on the inside.
Yeah.
So it'll know where you're looking. And so wherever you're looking, that's where it's going to render the sharpest. And everywhere else, it's not going to render as sharp. So I forget what that term is called, but it's not just doing it inside like the game, but it's doing it through stream. So if you're streaming your PC to this thing, it's actually the video that's being sent through your network that is adjusting the sharpness of your eyes. Because usually it's the game that does it.
Yeah. So this one I actually watched Linus Tech Tip review on it. And one of the things he talked about was the wireless integration that it has.
Yeah.
And how smooth it is. Like he says there's almost no noticeable delay in the video with wireless. which is a huge problem with wireless anything, let alone video, you know. And he says there might be like a millisecond, or not a millisecond, there might be a second delay at most. He says, but it's not truly noticeable. There's going to be some people who will notice it, you know, that will get sick or whatever from it. But he said I played with it a lot, and I didn't hardly notice anything, you know. And so that alone is like huge. The fact that they could make it wireless, and you know, it's not all that noticeable. So
yeah, and it's a standalone. There's a fucking PC in it.
mm-hmm.
Like just like the Meta Quest 3 or the Apple Vision Pro.
Yeah,
it's a whole computer in there. So yeah, I mean, fuck.
And I guess
I want that too.
There's rumors. I don't know how true they are, but one of the things Linus brought up was that they're thinking of doing like Apple, the Apple thing, and giving you the option of buying prescription lenses.
Oh, right.
To put inside there, which was huge for Apple. You know, that's one. My wife is a huge fan of Apple because of their accessibility options.
Yes, that is where they reign supreme for sure.
Yeah. She loved the past Android. No, not so much anymore because it's doing the same thing as Apple, and they're taking your choices away. And this is what you get plus bloatware, you know.
Yeah.
But the way it used to be, where it was very customizable and you can make it your own or whatever, it was a very simple system. She loved that, but she moved to Apple because of its accessibility features, and she stayed with them because of it. And so when Apple talked about with their headset, yeah, we're going to release, you know, prescription glasses for this stuff, I was like, oh, that's awesome. You know, you don't have to worry about wearing glasses inside of there. It's going to be built in, or an option you can put in there. And then Valve says they're going to do the same thing. I was like, that's even better, you know. And surely it's going to be half the cost of Apple, because half what you're paying for Apple is for Apple. The name.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's awesome that they're doing that. Like I watched his review and everything, and he had nothing but good marks to say about it. He says there's you know, some things I'm a little worried about. He says, but otherwise it's excellent. You know, give 2 thumbs up, you know. So,
but yeah, Steam machines, they're fucking back.
Yeah.
Even though I've had mine for 10 years. That doesn't run Steam. Steam OS just runs Windows 10 because it definitely can't do 11.
Yeah.
That machine is stuck on 10. But yeah. You got anything else?
No, I think that's pretty much everything modern. Everything I can think of up to date. So
yeah, I definitely didn't cover everything about the Steam machine. There's a lot of info out there. So yeah. Go to the website. Go to, you know, store.steampower.com / probably fucking, what is it? Steam Machines sale / Steam Machine.
I'm glad that they're only selling online, because hopefully that'll prevent a lot of that like scalper garbage going on.
Well, they were like the only ones who prevented scalping of the Steam Deck.
Jeez.
Do you remember how they did it?
I don't know.
It was required that you have a Steam account for at least 2 weeks. And
nice.
That you had at least purchased something on that account.
Nice.
Of at least $5 or something, or maybe. Oh no, it was $5 to hold the Steam Deck.
Okay.
I remember I had mine on hold, and I was like, you know what, I don't have the money for it, so I just canceled it, and they just refunded my $5 back.
Yeah.
But yeah, you needed to have an account for 2 weeks and to make a purchase.
That's so simple.
Yeah.
Why can't more companies do that?
And there was like almost no scalping, because it was like, what bots are going to do that? No bot is going to do that. So, yeah, genius.
Yeah.
Valve somehow always, even though sometimes they do some dumb shit, like they got stagnant a little bit on their, you know, their Steam app, and on their developer cuts, you know, like how much they give to their developers or how much they take from games.
Yeah.
Right. And it always takes somebody else to come in and be like, hey, fucking knock it off. Right. Like Epic was the ones that kind of like brought it to everyone's attention. Like, hey, you know, they're taking 30% from devs, and we're only taking like 18. And so that kind of lit a fire under Valve, and they changed that. And that's why, like Chris was saying, competition is good, Nintendo.
Yes. Yeah.
So stop fucking thinking that you own all video game mechanics, because you don't.
Yeah. You're not the first one.
Yeah. You may have helped in reviving the video game industry. bringing it back to life from fucking like certain death.
Mhm.
Could you imagine if there was no Nintendo or Sega? Because
Oh,
both of them
jeez.
were at the same time happening, right?
Yeah.
It was like the Sega Master System and the Nintendo Entertainment System. Without both of those, there'd be no fucking video games right
the
now.
Atari would have killed it. Yeah.
Well, the Atari did kill it because there was
Yeah.
nothing but fucking shovelware out there. It was the Atari 7200, I think, because it was like the Atari 2600, and it's like now the 5200, and people were like, "Well, everything looks kind of the same. Like, what's the difference?" And then it's like, "Well, now the 7200." It's like, "What the fuck? These games all still look the same, but I need
Yeah.
different hardware to play them. Like, this is bullshit. Like, there's no upgrade to any of these." So
Yeah.
and everyone was making video games. There was no Nintendo seal of approval type of thing. It's just garbage. And people blame it on ET, but no, it was just too many people making too many shit games.
Yeah, ET didn't help, but it was not the
No.
final nail in the coffin by any means.
Yeah, I think ET got a bad rap though. Like, if anything, if my next pick will be ET. How about that? After for our hard gamers thing, we're doing. If you guys want to support our pods and listen to some bonus podcasts, we're on hard gamers. We're gonna do Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles on NES next, but maybe I'll pick ET next.
Yeah. Or wouldn't that be a treat?
Right. All right. Well, if nothing else, thank you guys so much for listening to the official Pixel Benders podcast. If you'd like to contact us, you can do so at fans.pixelbenders@gmail.com. You can also leave us a text or a voicemail at 209-791-0995. But the best way to hang out with us is to just join our Discord. Come on in, do some shit posts if you want. That's all we do all day. Post whatever, just hang out. And if you also would like to catch us on Twitch, the links are in the description down below. But like I said, if you'd like to support this pod and other pods financially, you could do so on patreon.com/pixelbenders. You get live access to pod recordings, early access to episodes. You get a chance to be our guest, and like I said, bonus content to like a retro video game review pod, film review pod, and a movie commentary pod also.
Yeah.
And if you would like to leave a review with us, that'd be great, and I'll read it on the next episode. And also share us on your socials. We'd greatly appreciate it. Let all your friends know that we're the best podcast in the world.
Yeah. And no other podcast should exist. We will shut them down.
Yeah, even our own. This will be the only surviving podcast. We'll shut down the other ones forever.
Yep.
But I have been your host, Noise.
I'm DammitKriss.
And we'll see you guys next time. Say goodbye, Chris.
Goodbye, Chris.